Hi, everybody. My name's Linda Baker, and I'm here with Reverend Linda and my friend Kathy Cronin and my new friend Karen Downy. And we've got a story for you from truthunity.net. And I'll get to it in a few minutes. It's called the Estimating the Greatness of Human Beings. And it's reflections from Ralph Waldo Emerson by Eric Butterworth, one of our favorites here. So before we get into it, I'd just like for you to bow your head with me for a moment, if you will, and take a deep breath and release all your concerns. And let's say this: Dear Father, Mother God, through the power of your love, let us achieve an understanding of all the resources available to us as we go within and connect with you in prayer. We let go of our concerns and look for your answers, as we know they are there for us to find. By looking to see and feel your divinity in others, we see ourselves and you within them. We live and react in peace and unity as we move forward from day to day, trying to become part of the solution and dissolve the problems that separate us. It's your call to us into action. And now we listen. We gain confidence, we find purpose and peace, and to act on it. Thy kingdom come, Lord. And with great gratitude, amen. What Emerson offered the disciplines of a Sunday religion was a kind of inward awareness. This is the gist of what I want to convey. He gave a new meaning to transcendentalism, which is the immanence of divinity in man working through intuition. He's totally optimistic, and he believes in the integrity of man and his oneness with the dynamic universe. There's one mind common to all individual men or women. They always refer to men, so I'm just going to ride that out. Every man is an inlet to the same and to all of the same. What Plato thought, he may think. What a saint felt, he may feel. What has befallen any man at any time he can understand. Who accesses the universal mind is a party to all that is or can be done. This is metaphysics and a mental science process technique dealing with man's wholeness. It works because of something that's in man. All things proceed out of the same spirit, and all things conspire within it. Often we cut ourselves off from wholeness and create the frustration of potentiality within ourselves. Butterworth saw Emerson as introducing the importance of meditation, inward prayer, inward seeking too. He introduced an inward present consciousness into the American stream of thought. Break away from the old concept of duality and realize it as unity. God isn't out there, or he isn't a different part. You need not reach out to him. The missing link in whole Christian approach is that Jesus was saying, stand where I stand and see as I see, and feel the presence in you as I feel the presence in me. And then you'll be able to do as I do. In segment 34, Eric Butterworth called it Go Alone. He speaks of the constant sense of inferiority man creates by rejecting his own God mind within himself to bow down and worship the ones who have been accorded the stamp of greatness. He explains imagination can't go above its model. So go it alone. Dare to love God without a mediator or a veil. Love with the privilege of immeasurable mind. Understand your prayer is the contemplation of the fact of life from the highest point of view. It is the soliloquy, Butterworth says, of beholding and a jubilant soul. It's the Spirit of God pronouncing his works good. As soon as a man is at one with God, he will not beg. He will then see prayer in all action. God is nearer than the nearest. You exist from him. Prayer is lifting one's consciousness, one's vision to see things differently, to see from insight. You will see from the consciousness of God when you have the awareness of truth and lift the consciousness to the insight of truth. Then you will see things through that perspective. And then you will see God because you will see that God's potential is in people, in nature, in the world all around you. Simply said, man is endogenous, meaning he grows from the inside out. Some educators know this and strive to draw forth from their students, not give them something, but rather draw it from them. Every man is an inlet and may become an outlet to all there is in God. Place yourself in the middle of a stream of power and wisdom which animates all whom it floats, and you are without effort impelled to truth and to right and perfect outworking without effort. Divine guidance is as a principle is like gravity. Let it happen. The Father knows what things you need before you ask. You don't have to ask for guidance. You just have to understand it's already available to you. Just look within and let go. Listen for the right word and be guided spontaneously. Nothing gives you peace but yourself. This is why we sing the peace song. Let peace begin with me doesn't mean it ends there. It means it begins there. Emerson constantly gave people the ability to awaken and realize life is an inward and out process. And we are creative persons, and the universe is trying to say something through us. So to the panel, I ask, does your intuition lead you to believe you grew from the inside out like a palm tree? How different would your life be if you had been taught this originally rather than learning from your parents or other role models that you should be this way and do things that way? Call it tradition or old-fashioned way to grow up. But tell me what you think.
Well, I've actually thought a lot about this. I do the Foundation Friday program. I don't know if you all watch that or not, but it's the video that runs every Friday. And I'm frequently doing teachings from Lowell Fillmore. Lowell Fillmore was the oldest son of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, Unity co-founders, for any that didn't know that. And he was seriously the very first generation raised with unity concepts and morals. That's where unity started, was in his childhood. So he grew up with the idea that God lived in him and that he was perfect as he was, and that he was totally accepted and totally loved and totally valued as Christ within lived and breathed and expressed through him. they had 3 sons. And I think about, wow, we have the ability to raise our children and our grandchildren in this tradition, and how different would life be? I know some ministers who grew up that way, who grew up in those traditions, and the difference is just absolutely phenomenal. So I don't get to go back and change the way I was raised. But with my great granddaughter, who's in my care and keeping frequently, I tell her all the time that not that she's beautiful or pretty, which she is, she's gorgeous, but I tell her that she's brilliant and capable. And she'll play games and say, save me, save me. And I'll tell her, what do you need to save yourself? You've got the ability, it comes from within. And it's, just a little bit that I can do. But how amazing would the world be if each and every one of us knew that we matter, that we belong here, that we are an expression of divinity on earth, that we are tied to all that is, all the wisdom, all the love. I think about that a lot, and definitely trying to do my part to spread the word. Thank you so much for the reading.
Anyone else have some thoughts they'd like to share?
Sure. Thank you, Linda. That was really good. And it was a lot to digest. What it was saying to me was, it would have been nice to have come from the family like Reverend Linda was talking about, because it does begin there. And what was coming to me was, it's like, the older I get, it's the lesson in being unique. Not what somebody thinks I should be, not all of those things that I was told from my parents, from the nuns at school, from the this, from the that, from the job employer. It's like a whole lifetime of expectations, being don't tell anybody, smile. You might be crying, but smile. It takes a lot of undoing to go, I really feel like crap. No, I don't feel everything isn't wonderful today. And that's okay. It's part of the journey. And I keep being reminded, and this reading reminded me too, of the journey's not out there in impressing somebody or any of those other things. The journey's from my stinking thinking, my head, that squirrel cage that goes on nonstop, to my heart. And I did a course with heart math, and I have to remember that because I forget. It's always like something outside's going to help me. But it is the journey from the head to my heart, and focusing on my heart, focusing on, it's my heart, that's me. That is the God, the divine within, and breathing my heart. And when I think of what needs to change outside myself, I have to come back and go, let me be the light. I'm the one that needs to change. If I see something that's not what I think it should be, it's reflecting something that I need to do. Mm-hmm. And, getting out of all of those old tapes. And thank God we've got a lifetime to do it, because it certainly is a long journey.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Well, that was a good response too. Thank you for sharing what you thought. How about you, Kathy?
Well, there was a lot to digest with that. And the biggest thing I took away from it is the inward to become the outward. And I kept thinking of the Disney movie Inside Out, is that what we have on the inside is what we express outwardly. And it is a lot of on the inside are things that behaviors, patterns, things we've learned, learned patterns in our lifetime. And as I thought about that, it's like, okay, so I was told this or I was told that, but I now have the ability to change, to take in a different thought pattern, a different reaction to it. And I can bring in the light of God. I can bring in the love of God. I can bring in, the positive, affirming things, or I can choose to take the negative that's out there, or hear the rhetoric, that if you get caught up in the media and hearing all the negative things out there, and I can take that all in. And then what I notice is that what I'm feeding my mind, what I'm taking inward, then I start to react outwardly that way. So if I'm taking a lot of positive thoughts in and, good things and optimistic and just, life is full of love and, it's just we're there together and we're all made in the one uniqueness of God. And that then I see people that way. I see that we're all children of God. I see their presence and their essence and that. But if I start to hear and I buy into, people are evil and there's bad and there's all these negative things about it and they're different than I am and all of this person is really bad, and then that's how I start to treat other people. And so I know that I have that ability within me to change those tapes, to change those efforts. What I bring in inward is what I express outwardly. And I can see that so often in my life. It just is like, okay, if I'm being snotty, it's like, what was it that I've heard, or what is it that made me react this way to someone else? Is it, just that I have a preconceived notion that this, person's like this because somebody had told me that, or I just feel overall, I just know that if we take a moment and stop and look at what was it that I was thinking, or what was it that I was saying to myself, my inner thoughts, how was I thinking this, that I ended up outwardly expressing that. And it does, we all have that ability to change. We can let go of those behaviors and patterns that don't feed us and don't bring us to being that loving child of God that we are, to loving the others around us in the same essence and beauty that they are, to heal within our own selves the pains, and seeing that I can bring in that essence of spirit to bring that healing into me, to take those negative things that we're told, as a young kid. I remember a nun going to Catholic school that just said, every time I look at you, I see you as being fat and lazy. And so often I'll think of that about myself when I'm being non-motivated and I'm just watching TV or not doing something, and I'm just going, there's that little voice, and it's like, ugh, that was years ago and that was her situation. It's like, that's not who I am. I'm here and I'm doing this and I deserve this time. And, it's like just negating out that negative feedback that's sitting in there. That's like, it doesn't apply to me today. I choose to be, more positive and uplifting. So those are my thoughts. But it's work. I'm going to tell you, it's work every moment, every time. It's even in the process of talking about this, it's like I can see the yo-yo going back and forth and up and down and all around. It's not easy. however, what we bring in is what we put out. And so it's sort of like, so the inside, if I want to do is for meditation, that's where really meditation coming in and bringing that healing energy within our souls and just reminding ourselves that we are the children of God, that we are ever loved and ever present, and that, can walk in that presence, and that it's all about love. It's the essence of love around us. And I just have done almost the full year of the Course in Miracles, and that whole aspect of that is all about being in the presence of love. And so I have to remind myself, if I'm not saying positive things, I'm out of my loving spirit. So I have to turn around and look at the love in there. So those are my thoughts on this, and thank you for bringing that, because I love Eric Butterworth's writings, and then his interpretation of Emerson, who is very, very deep and very prolific, and just there's so much wealth of knowledge there that we can grow. Thank you, Linda.
Well, you're very welcome, and I appreciate all three of you. I think you've really hit the nail on the head, and you so understand the need to change your perception. When things can be so hard, you can be drawn down into a vortex that is just, the more you try, it's harder to get out of it, and I guess I'm reaching out to an audience there that doesn't feel or know that if they just change their way of thinking, they can change their whole life. I think y'all did a beautiful job helping me out on this one. I thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Anybody like to add any other comments? Okay. Well, to our viewing audience out there, thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked it. Subscribe to the video if you would like. Share it with a friend, or come on down and join us on the panel, and share your stories too. Uplift us. And we appreciate you tuning in, and we're looking forward to seeing you again online sometime. Until then, sweet dreams, happy trails.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments, which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.